I have a video pen up Memorial Day 2022. But before I begin, I wanted to share with you something that come as a surprise to you. I have made a friend in Germany. It's the first time. I'm an old man. My father didn't want any friends from Germany. When I heard why, I didn't either. I've had German friends, don't get me wrong. We disagreed about a lot of stuff. Wasn't really what you would call seeing eye to eye at all. Some of them sort of drifted off in the direction of like rather not be friends with them. But I was sort of a take them as you come, young man, public school and deaf. Beggars can't be choosers, and some of them had some nice times with them. This guy actually sees eye to eye. He's one of these people who has heard all the stuff about why you have to be deceptive, why you have to look out for yourself. Looking out for yourself is number one. All the just get ahead, don't mind your principles. Now, he's heard all this stuff and never been able to figure out for a second why anyone would be able to. I mean, he's thought it through and he can't fathom it. He tries and it's like Tom Bombadil falling with the ring of power. It just flies off. He forgets what it was and doesn't care about it. It's a Tolkien thing. But he's stuck wondering what gives with all these other people who are into the new hash of the reality of the old ways and stuff. He gets back to me, and I see things the way he does, and I appreciate it. He's a friend, pretty good friend, one of the best friends I ever had. I appreciate him. So let's get down to business. If you're like me, you don't really like the nuclear bomb. I've written poetry to rock against it. But it might come as a surprise to you, whether you like me or not. The Trumpy tune had a fetish with my old man of making him out to be dishonorable because his life may have been saved by the nuclear bomb. Surprisingly, he was on the same ship of Bush, and Trump never dared to do that to Bush. But Trumpy tune has axe to grind about my existence, little boy from the ship of the Navy, who he says was born by birth genetically dishonorable, a disgrace to the human race. This is someone who has mercilessly has to be catapulted out of the United States of America because he's not a true man. He owes his life to a Truman decision that was degrading to American conduct, like Clint Eastwood leading his horse out into the saloon town where six gun wheelers stand leaning, laughing at him. He wants an apology to his horse. So they thought of everything they could think of to do dishonorable to see if they could get it out of their systems. They attacked me blindside when I was 98 pounds. They hammered me into shack and brought in a plump young developed when I was just a scrawny little boy. They made us get down. They made me get down to business with her, and so on and so forth. They correlated it to D because that's the day they killed King, which was 4/4, and that's a symbol for Nazi Germany. You see, in other words, Nazi Germany was going to regain their honor this way. This was their ticket to ride. This was their valor code. Jumpy Tune was going to preside over this. He was going to being notorious booger boy to a little kid, and he was going to show that no matter what he did, no matter what, that he could solve everything. Attack the kid blindside, deafen him, lie about him, lie to him. Chase his mother out of her house, Um, there's nothing he could think of could ever compensate for the dishonor of the nuclear ending of World War II. So he's still at it. He put a little half smushed dead worm as a symbol of Hollywood gratuity where I was led to see in the Hinghay for the memorial service. So I contemplate this symbol from Hollywood High. And we'll get back to that symbol. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. We'll get back to it. Believe me, we're going to get back to this dead, half smushed worm. We're going to get back to Trumpy too. I'm not finished. But I wanted to tell you there's two ways you can look at what went on with me. You can either believe as I do the truth, which is that Lenin faked the whole thing, was in on the script, or you can believe as everybody knew that I had nothing to do with it, would never have tolerated anything like that, had no idea anything like that was going on. Or thirdly, sort of, I don't think anybody really believes it. You can say you believe that I deserved it to be blamed and tortured and brutally gassed and have seriously Kennedy killed because, I mean, Trumpington has trouble thinking up things to throw into the, brew of his determination to show that the dead, half smushed worm is dishonorable because of the victory of the nuclear bomb. So, now, I mean, he went after the Navy. That's probably why Bush got a good conduct pass because he was up in the air. He shot JFK and stuff. We now know from the Texas school book. But he did in the name of Lenin and stuff. But um, it's curious because I thought the Air Force dropped the nuclear bomb. The way the B-52s dropped all that napalm. The honorable people up in the sky dropping all the stuff. They're the honorable ones, right? I mean, I'm trying to remember what made the Navy so dishonorable. The fact that we were off the coast ready, if we didn't know yet anything about desert, ready doing our duties, right? Kennedy swam with the man on his back all the way to an island, saved his life. How's that for a dead half smushed worm? Yeah, Trumpington's a strange one. So, what's all this dishonor coming from? Well, I'd like to get to some of this stuff so that you can see where it's coming from because I think you have a right to know. See, one of the reasons they're really down on me, they get real cross when my name comes up. Michael Reagan starts fishing for child sex memories to try to humiliate me and make me go dishonorable. Peter Gabriel he enlisted neuroplasm, neuroscience people, squeezed brain injury that they impact. He needs to see that Michael Reagan favorite scene some more because he doesn't like what I have always had to say, which is that the arms race people made the situation of a sustainable living on our planet unsustainable. He canceled out sustainability. Now you wonder, why in the world you would have a situation where people had access to education, were living at peace, where they would derail it and throw it to the winds. And I used to ask these kinds of questions. All the time I was growing up, I asked these kinds of questions. I didn't approve of a lot of things that was going on. Now, the letters Trumpington and his buds are like there's an image that I don't like. I've always hated. It's of this man smushing his wife after he gets off for killing him at Till. That's whenever I see those letters or think of, those letters, get an image like that, like Ringo Starr and Trumpy Tune smooching each other horribly, having gotten off for what those letters contain. It's sickening. But Dr. Proctor used to say that what we really hated about what happened in Metz-Hill was nobody stood up for him. With the stretch of the eagle eye of Hawkwind's lasso over Pink Floyd's geopolitics, the PlayStation of Trumpy-Tune, you can almost argue that it's a little bit like Arredondo in Salvador Ramos, because they pulled a observation of the murder of children in a closed room in school. Senseless violence in a closed room was what one of the people who tormented me at Temple University used to say was his favorite line and reason. And you have this idea like we know what a half smushed worm, dead worm is. And we're going to observation to demonstrate what one is. You could argue that they, of course, they will sequence it. It's to characterize that portion of the horde, and then we'll move to a new portion soon. Is what they manga in their council of the Tabla Rasa, with Shifty and Ramos. I'm in Tacoma. So we say sometimes high principle or none was one of the calling cards of JFK. High principles or none. But when you get to Clinton, that's obviously none. I mean, it was under Clinton that they threw away promises to Russia and NATO. It was under Clinton that Maduro-Goto was given the go-ahead to attack me in a head injury. It was under Clinton that this dandy from New York, Louis Lapham, good for nothing, who'd always hated JFK, couldn't get over the image of Rudy, the girl Rudy, holding little Jimmy Query's arm as distastefully as holding a urine specimen. I mean, he it allowed him suddenly, a man who's tormenting a 98-pound child who's been tortured, who's been humiliated so many ways because Trumpy-Tune was trying to get it out of his system how dishonorable he thought the nuclear bomb was. And this full-grown man, he just so occupied with his dead half smushed worm. He cannot. It's like a divine revelation. Rudy holding his arm as distastefully as holding a urine specimen. Oh, Louis Lapham evolved. He evolved when he saw that image. So, these are important, powerful, honorable men who've regained their honor this way. They hide behind little girls. They do. They hide behind little girls. What Arredondo and Ramos did was, skinheaded D as for people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Trumpy-Tune, hiding behind that beautiful Greta Thunberg the way they do. It's shameful the way Putin hides behind Camilla Valieva, and they don't want to. Putin and Stone have a gift of understanding how America sees the world. So the Wispansky circle is into depopulating. They don't care about human rights. Just get them out of here. They just send them out into march the Knights of Resignation against each other and let them whittle each other down. You know, and and behind the scenes, they have Hollywood, Beaver, and I mean Putin and Trump get along famously. They laugh and laugh, and they're smart alecks. They're funny to watch. I mean, they're Abbott and Costello, and but they're human. They're behind really important brujos of warrior sets like Errol Flynn and John Lennon. Errol Flynn and John Lennon you both used to say, "He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day." And Arredondo can put that on his refrigerator. So you have to wonder what all was going on under Clinton. Amanda Harcourt stalled on the ecological system. M stalled and Les stalled, and it's all spelled like Stahl, like Riefenstahl. They stalled. And it wasn't just Riefenstahl who was doing movies from the Axis for Hollywood, but Ingrid Bergman got her start with Joseph Goebbels. Did you know that? Remember that dude, Will Zell, who was honorary, the sacred African warrior, promoting Joseph Goebbels, who surrounded my name with positive and negative signs? He was a JDL man. Yeah, that's right. That's who I'm talking about. Well, this is their reasoning. I'm just repeating their reasoning. That's what they reason. That's what they say. And she was promoting this character, this Harcourt woman, because she was determined to prove that virginity proves rape. Okay, she was going to get her yayas out for Peter Gabriel and Yoko Ono. And we don't know exactly how she got Clinton, a president of the United States. I mean, he wiped the board of promises Bush about NATO to the Russians. Just get it out of here. And he's like, oh, Truman, he's old time. He said that we had the right to end the war. We didn't know what the bomb was really. We heard about Auschwitz and then King. We just wanted to get it over with. Russia would have done the same thing. Don't listen to the jazz. But he said, oh no, Truman needs a designated dead half smushed one to take the grievance so that our black stud can get the Japanese, what. Yeah, so I mean, and we wonder how exactly did Harcourt monger this in the Oval Office. We see under the desk like Lewinsky. I wonder too. Yeah, and she had Trumpington has a knack at doing those kinds of things. In fact, Russian politics, the man who killed Trotsky got close to him by smoozing his daughter. And we know that there's some questions about um, what went on with the women that got a little bit close to the Kennedys. Now that we know they come from the Trumpy Tune Jack Ruby scene, so we're not surprised anymore, are we? By the wayside, it's a pure digression, but I get a laugh thinking about this. Evidently, Peter Gabriel never filmed The Lamb because he was trying to impress the cook, had reduced the corona, and he used to lose sleep. Because he knew about kicking himself. He thought he was so stupid. He was stupid. You know, and it's funny. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just sort of dark humor. And imagine Penis not being able to sleep because he made a stupid move in trying to please the croquet. And sort of amusing. So, but Ingrid Bergman, there's a famous line, "For your sake, I let her pretend." In other words, all of Hollywood was pretending. For Hitler's sake, we let you pretend that he died. We let you pretend that he lost World War II. And that was the message from Hitler, Reagan. So we know what the um, half half smushed worm, dead worm isn't. it isn't men who pull off such a monstrosity. Now, Africa has been given something of an invite to help Trumpy too. You know, from behind the curtains, they sneer and they snicker. You know, they and Chinatown picks up on it. You know, they don't particularly like me because they think I'm after their little girls or something. You know, because the lewd, you know, um, black men they can get pretty worked up when a guy is um, on the make for the girls that they want to traffic. So the Chinese guys think I want to just traffic their girls. You will notice that I have but it's true. I'm saying it because it's true. You know, the Chinese guys, you know, I haven't asked any of these girls out in 30 years. How's that? You know, these girls used to come on to me. I mean, Elms McGuff was like, I'm doing undercover for the Post Gazette, you know, so I'm going to ask you to please rub my boob and make like you want it. And I'm like, do I have to? You know, but all of these women came on to me. You know, that's what made me suspicious. And I started to holler and leave, you know, Arnie Sacknessums, you know, follow this, something strange going on. Which brings us to the issue of Chomsky and Brucker. You know, Brucker couldn't care less about worse things have happened, he used to say. And you get the impression from Chomsky's raw take on these things that he's not just another military sociologist. He actually cares. He cares. Chomsky cares. He's trying to stop things. What he's doing is he's focusing on where the moral arguments play and where they're being used by these obnoxious people. But it's likely that Chomsky helped dream up the idea of getting even for the nuclear bomb for a little Japanese nookie. Nookie for nookie, even for, you know, and the bottom line is that the new evidence has come out, which reinforces this belief that what they're doing is putting on a stage play for uh, expansion of NATO into new domains of pantyhose, so to speak. You know, so the half dead, I mean, the half smushed dead worm is obviously a projection from Trumpy Tune. I mean, I'm doing pretty well. I mean, I haven't backed off from explaining that AIDS was an attack and that Hitler Reagan was behind it. And that I found evidence that Lennon really didn't die and he's been being used by Paul McCartney and Queen Elizabeth to promote an agenda of revenge for their favorites in Japan on the United States of America over the nuclear bomb. And you know, when I looked at the half smushed dead worm, I thought, you know, I was holding the card that Cersei Kennedy's mother had sent me. This was Memorial Day. Is that really something? I, is that really something to leave as a calling card, as a statement of contempt, Trumpy tune, of the son of a distinguished service naval veteran? Um, Not so Greta when he left office. Thank God. Said, well, he'll live a nice old life. Not so fast, Greta, because Donald Trump he should be down on his knees begging forgiveness from me to reclaim his honor. Don't you think? He has duty to perform before he can just walk away from his war crime, his trashy attack on the United States of America.